Hello, and welcome to the Emotional Endurance Movement. This week's episode is dedicated to your one friend who's really into crystals. Do you want to see my crystal collection? You know the one.
Oh, I know the one. She's sitting right across from me.
Hello, and welcome to the Emotional Endurance Movement, the only mental health variety show that wants you to build your emotional endurance alongside us. I'm Laurie Sharp-Page, your Chief Coping Officer, and here with me as my co-host, our behaviorist at large, it's Crimson McDonald.
Howdy, y'all.
On this week's episode, we're talking about the feeling of restlessness and the coping skill of taking a walk. Let's get into it. First up is our weekly EEA emotional endurance assessment scores. Crimson, where you at? What you got going on?
Okay, I first want to point out if you have seen this before, the design looks different. Our product is continuing to get better and better, so that's exciting. But results wise, I'm up a little bit and I feel up a little bit. We have exciting work happening, and I just went on vacation and I just feel like it matches what I'm feeling right now. It's not funny that optimism is my lowest right now because we are seeing that that is becoming a very consistent trend in my life. So, 6.7, that's kind of where I'm feeling. I'm doing pretty well. I'm feeling pretty hopeful. I mean, hope is really bringing me up.
It's interesting you bring up the optimism because you're almost up a full point this week. I feel like that's really significant for you.
Well, I think getting a check in the mail from a client always just does that
All
naturally.
right. Well, I believe up this week, finally. I've been kind of waiting to get feeling better.
I was about to say, we have the same score. Almost.
Mine's on the up for sure. Interestingly, my optimism is down a little bit, and I spent some time reflecting on this. As y'all know, I've had a summer of really kind of processing some things, and I feel like I've done a lot of personal work and a lot of personal growth and feeling much more centered and clear on what I'm wanting and where I want to go and how I can get there and all of that stuff, feeling much more clear internally. I think what's dipping the optimism is micro feeling more clear in myself. Macro, I do not feel clear at all. I feel pretty like things are sketch and
I agree.
I don't
I
know
think
what's going
that's
to
bringing it
happen.
down. I think the macro is a lot of what brings down my optimism.
A lot of it is just kind of being like, well, this is where we're at, and it's uncertain where we'll be at in several months' time. Yeah. So that I feel like is dipping me down, but overall feeling much better, feeling much more like myself. I was telling you yesterday, like, I feel like I'm coming out of what has been a hard period of time for me, having done the work and ready to kind of go out and flex those skills and live life again. And those opportunities are starting to come, and I'm walking again fairly normally. My gait is fairly normal. I'm still not to the place where I'm routinely walking the way I was. And that's part of my goal for the next month or 2 months is to get back there.
Yep. Well, I'm proud of you, Lori. It's been one hell of a summer. You can see it. I mean, I love how we trend the data because you can see it and celebrate your movement.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the very beginning of my score in May, I think the first time we started adding it to the podcast, I believe was like maybe 2 weeks out from my injury. And I was in one of the lowest places I've been in a long time. I almost think if we had taken it right after my injury, there would be a little bit more of a low tail on
Right.
that. It's nice to see the progress. It's obviously very nice to feel it. And it's also helpful, I think, to visualize the fact that it is peaks and valleys, right? There's a natural, I got to feeling much better probably mid to end of June. And there were still some tough moments in July, especially when I was still wearing that boot and it was a million degrees outside. That really got me down. So, yeah, feeling better, increase, but noticing those differences between what is in my control and what is decidedly outside my control.
At the end of the day, I think we're both struggling with the same thing. Like we're not able to control all of the variables. But ultimately, I'm really proud of you for coming out of this. My son broke his hand at the beginning of the school year last year, and it is not discussed how much it sets us back mentally, emotionally, academically, professionally. It's been a rough road, and you've dealt with it in strides, dude.
It's been a big conversation with me and the physical therapists that have been treating me, that trophy to them because they have helped me so much, but so much of their work is psych. They've kind of reflected back to me that it is abnormal for someone to come in like me who's like, "Yeah, I'm feeling better. These are the things that are going right." A lot of times they're having to attend to people that are feeling hopeless, and then basically they're like, "Do 20 exercises." And
Yeah.
it's gotta be hard. It is definitely, I mean, anything in healthcare is hard, but it is an important part of a physical therapist role, and another thing that I'm grateful for in this whole experience is I got to learn more about what they do, and their profession and the people I've worked with have really helped me, and I think it's another call to action that we all are talking about the nervous system, but we're talking about in disjointed ways, and wouldn't it be great if everybody had this education and we could really support everybody to take care of their nervous system all the time, not just when they're in crisis.
Right. I mean, that's the goal, right?
Now it's time for our insight of the week. Crimson, what do you got for us?
All right, Lori. So honestly, full disclosure, the original quote that I had in here was my own quote, but then I decided I
Quoting
shouldn't quote myself
yourself.
because I have strong feelings about the feeling this week, but I decided to go with someone smarter than me. So, all of humanity's problems stem from a man's inability to sit quietly in a room alone. This is attributed to Pascal, and I absolutely love this quote for multiple reasons. When I was younger, like in my 20s, I did not understand people that couldn't be alone and that didn't need time to sit and think. I just thought it was weird. There were people that could not sit quietly alone in a room. My roommate was one of them. She could not sit in the discomfort of being alone and surely not quietly alone in a room. Like a TV had to be running. Felt this way about my parents. Like there was always a TV running. They were never quietly alone. And I think it's really important to learn this skill alone is how we come into this world and how we leave it. Like we have to be comfortable in the discomfort of nothing, of not being in control, not being able to do anything. And I don't think it's a skill we're good at. And I think it's been amplified with technology.
I don't disagree with this quote. I don't think it's all of our problems, but I do think it's most of them. And the reason why it's most of them is because when we sit alone quietly, we are asked to process and unpack and to basically integrate our experiences. And when our experiences are difficult or maybe dissonant or uncertain, disempowering, disenfranchising, whatever that may
Right.
be, often the action of sitting with them is laborious. It takes a lot of work and energy and doesn't feel great. But what happens is you just check out, you just numb out. And as Brene Brown says, if you numb to one emotion, you numb to all, which I very much agree with. And so I think there are lots of us that have gotten so used to running away from ourselves that the skill set of actually sitting with ourselves is not only elusive, it's also like it seems like it's not valuable. It seems like it's a waste of time. That's like somebody saying, like, taking care of my body is a waste of time. And there's a lot of people that feel that way. Maybe they wouldn't necessarily like verbalize it like that, but like it's not important for them to do that. They don't see the value in doing
Right.
that. And there's obviously cost to that. And again, I think we have to allow for the freedom for people to choose how they want to engage with their minds and their bodies, but there's very real cost to avoiding them. And that's, I
Absolutely.
believe, what this quote is saying is like, how much have we lost out on? How much of the solutions, the engagement, the community, the culture would change if we all had better relationships with ourselves and were able to sit in the discomfort of building that.
I think that's what's always been the part that I've struggled with is that sitting quietly in a room alone is the only way I really have an opportunity to process. And I know that people might say I over process and I overthink, but I think it's part of the point of existence. And to your point, I don't think it's all of humanity's problems, but the world would be much different if all of us took the time to invest in thoughtful contemplation about ourselves, our lives, and life's problems. It's part of what we're selling here is conscious coping, thinking about it and being aware. But I think this quote, it's funny. This was over 350 years old. This was before Netflix. This was before social media. And I'm over my kids being like unable to not be entertained. And that's part of the inspiration for this week's episode. I'm like, I want to talk about being restless because I have two restless kids. But this quote really brought it back to adults, right? Because we are much different. We scroll while watching TV. We're checking our phones while we're standing in lines. We're listening to podcasts while we're folding our laundry. We're refreshing that email in between things. We're also addicted to the constant stimulation. We might have a little bit better or more skills in the
We might have a
delayed
little bit worse skills too.
that we could, and I think in some cases we definitely do. But I think for everyone universally right now, when we feel restless, we immediately eliminate it, right? Like scroll. There's so many ways. Numb. When really we need to learn to sit in it.
Now it's time for the feeling of the week. The feeling of the week is restlessness, which is like, I would say it's like a top 10 emotion for me. I feel restless a lot of times. It has subsided into my older years, but when I was young, I would be very restless for things. It's one that I've really grappled with. So, Crimson, what's the official definition of restlessness?
Right. The official definition is the uncomfortable feeling that you should be doing something else, even when you don't know what that something else is.
I mean, it is. It's like a liminal space emotionally.
I mean, it's a tension between where you are and where you want to be, right? Like, and
Yeah.
sometimes it's even worse when you don't know where you want to be.
Yeah. So, this is definitely like a prominent feeling for me.
I gotta be honest, when I was younger, it happened more. Restlessness is new in my life, and we'll talk about why later, but I have never had to really wrestle with this. My perspective of it comes from having restless children and their constant need. I think that because I'm so good at Pascal's recommendation, which is sitting quietly and alone and contemplating, I've never really struggled with it until the past few months. It's become a new feeling, at least in adulthood. I don't like it.
I've always tied it deeply to my ambition and my vision. So I don't necessarily have a negative relationship with it, especially now, but it is a perennial present feeling for me. And my kids actually aren't really restless at this moment in time, and that'll shift and change. They're lazy right now. They're restful.
They're full of rest. They have all the rest. That's hilarious. No, I mean, it's a really awful feeling. That's why restless leg syndrome sounds like the worst disease ever because it's a
Oh, that's a
really,
whole other thing. My husband has restless leg syndrome, and it's oof, that is
yeah, it's a
not a fun
physical,
thing to experience.
yeah, physical manifestation of these feelings. It's not a great thing. So, no, I'm feeling it though more so as a mom and with restless kids this summer. Like, I love summer. I usually cry when it's ending, and right now I'm kind of like, maybe this can end.
For this week's show and tell, we're going to talk about the top 5 things that are making us feel restless or bring restlessness to us, whatever it may be. Crimson, would you like to start by giving us your first one?
I am feeling restless with lip color, Lori, and this is really important.
Okay.
Never really liked lipstick, and now I'm really into it, and I don't really know what changed, except I love it now. But everything's either too pink, too orange, too brown, too glossy, too matte, and I can't get satisfied. Like, I have probably spent $100 on lip liners this month trying to find something I like.
I mean, finding your perfect lip combo it's a journey.
It's a restless
You know?
task.
It is, but I mean, I think you'll get there. Is it anchored to anything? Are you trying different brands? Are you going with a
Yeah.
certain one color palette? Like, how are we just like manically trying different lip colors, or is there some philosophy
I'm at
behind it?
the manic phase now. I started with like Ulta and like looking at all the kits and trying to match it and was very unsatisfied. And so then I just decided to go rogue and just buy a bunch of stuff and make it work. Then I even made ChatGPT look at my amazing collection and come up with combinations, and that was hilarious. In fact, I should totally capture that.
Yeah, I want to see that. That's some content that I think
Yeah,
we're all
that
waiting
was
for.
interesting what it had recommended. So yeah, I've been trying different people's stuff and I just don't like any of it.
This is where the Dollar Tree is your friend. Go back to the Dollar Tree.
You're
And
right.
then make that content too, because I wanna see, but makeup is I don't know, makeup's such a journey for me too. I try not to get manic with it because just because somebody else's holy grail is theirs doesn't mean that it's gonna be yours. Everybody's chemistry is so different,
Yep.
and honestly, I am still playing around. I don't have that part of my life figured out at all. And I guess maybe that makes me a little bit restless too. I am such a rube for consumerism around makeup, even though I don't
Yeah.
really wear it. So I try and stick it to the Dollar Tree
I mean, it's smart because then
for
you're
my
right. I could go
own
at least find
sanity.
colors, and if I didn't like the product, I would at least have some idea of the color palette.
But you
I
know
might
me,
take
I
that
mean, I
advice.
love my Dollar Tree health and
Oh
beauty
yeah.
and skin products. I stand by them. And I would have never started that journey if it wasn't for TikTok. So I get it. It's a process.
Speaking of, I'm about to use this
Yeah.
lip oil, which is not the lip oil we
Yeah.
got at the Dollar Tree, and you know what? It's not as good. It
It's
doesn't
not
feel
the
as
one that
good.
we got at the Dollar Tree?
No, this is an expensive one. This is Elf, but it's still like a name brand. And
Yeah.
it does not feel as good as the lip oil we got at the Dollar Tree. All right, Lori, what's on your list?
I am always restless anytime we are in that last period of like a couple weeks before we're changing systems or routines. So, with the kids going back to school now, and I think about 3.5 weeks, we've entered this portal in between summer and back to school. And I am just kind of somebody that like that wait in between for anything really, but especially things that are gonna change the routine. It's like, I'm like, "Let's just do it. Let's just get it done. Let's do it now. Let's not wait any longer," and that makes me really restless.
Well, I mean, that brings me to mine, which is summer. It has made me restless for the same reason, but I think it's the phase that we just entered is what you're talking. Like, there's no more vacations to look forward to. And now it's just hot and restless kids and like a transitional period that's not very rewarding. I'm not enjoying it either. So that's on
Yeah,
my restlessness list too.
yeah.
What else you got?
So I talked a lot about earlier in the episode, like, understanding micro me is feeling so much better, and macro me is kind of like, ugh. And part of what's got macro me so restless is I feel like my psychological safety is very threatened by performative values. And when people say that they're one way and then show up and engage a different way, that gives me all the alarm bells, all the red flags, all the things. And it makes me feel like I just want to get away. I don't wanna engage, I just wanna get away, and there's some things in my life that I've been able to say, "You know what? I don't need it. I don't need that in my life anymore. I don't need to be around that." I think people that have performative values ultimately are unsafe people because they are presenting a version of themselves, but when push comes to shove and it is time for them to engage with said values and they don't, that to me is like, what are we doing here? Especially when it's an individual to individual exchange. On a larger level, I think when institutions say this is the vision, this is what we're here to do, and they don't show up to do those things, it's hyper concerning. And this is that tension I was talking about earlier between the micro and the macro. And it's interesting because this one is ultimately, I think, me feeling like this is a logical feeling for me to have of this restlessness of like, I want to move through this. I want to distance myself from this because I'm trying to take care of myself. And so it's not like a bad manifestation of the feeling, it's almost a predictable.
Right.
And so what can I do? Well, in some cases, I can actually make a break. In other cases, I have to learn to accept that this is happening and also keep my eyes open to it. Because again, I think it signifies a lack of safety. So, performative values, I promise, is probably the most serious one on my list, but it really does. It is something that makes me restless to get away, to separate myself from. The other part of this too is when I speak about my restlessness that I had earlier in my life, I think a lot of that restlessness was around this idea that I was showing up the way that I thought I should be showing up, doing the things that I thought I should be doing, and was very performative. and it wasn't leading me where I wanted to go. And so part of this is like I've healed this aspect, or I'm working to heal this aspect in myself. And so when other people or institutions have it, I'm like, oh, like, no, get me away. I am not here for it.
Well, don't you think just disingenuous or unauthentic people are unsettling?
Authenticity is a privilege thing, and a lot of people don't feel like they have the ability to show up authentically in their life. So I want to name the fact that I think sometimes people showing up inauthentically is them trying to keep themselves psychologically safe, or safe in other ways, honestly.
Right.
But I think it's when you espouse that you are a certain
Right.
way, or you have this value, or you're here to do X, Y, and Z, and then you don't do those things. That's when I think we've moved into some type of like nefarious territory, because not only are you not showing up authentically, you're taking the time and the energy to present in a totally different way in order to manipulate the situation.
Yep. That's an unsettling one. I agree with that one.
All
All
right, what do you
right.
got?
If it isn't obvious to people, I am from the great Commonwealth of Kentucky, and it's an
She's
exciting
a Kentucky
time.
colonel, y'all.
I am a Kentucky Colonel, Colonel MacDonald. Our senator's missing. Senator Mitch
Yeah.
McConnell. And I don't know the days. If someone can quote me on it, I don't care. It's like over 40 days. And no one has spoken to him. We get pictures at random. It is no secret that I am friends with the Senate candidate running for the seat. So I know that it's probably a little personal, but I'm very unsettled with two aspects of this. One, the political one of like, I'm not being represented in Senate. Like, it's kind of like a big job. It's kind of a big deal. And he kind of took the summer off without talking to us, proof of life, like any communications. There's also like the institutional fears, like how can we have government where people just disappear? Especially a giant like Mitch McConnell. I mean, we aren't talking about some junior senator. So there's that part of it. But then there's also the unsettling part of we have a lot of elderly people running our government right now and running our country and running huge institutions. And again, I find it unsettling to have to watch people age in public life and be expected to perform as they did when they were 50, when they're literally 80, 85, 90 years old. So it just becomes pretty exhausting, and I'm getting restless with like inability to move this forward. Like, he's a senator. He is a sitting senator. It should be very easy to get communication from him. And I'm unsettled with it. I'm unsettled with his wife not stepping up. I'm unsettled with his party not stepping up. I'm unsettled with Congressman Andy Barr and Senate candidate Andy Barr for not stepping up. Like, I am completely restless about the circumstances at which we're seeing in the Commonwealth.
Yeah, I'm concerned about it too. And I am also restless to know what is going on.
Something needs to be done to find these people, and I don't know what it is. So it's like this weird, just totally unsettling.
This is one of those macro places where it's like, yeah, like I'm restless to get all of this resolved, and it is so far out of our control.
Yeah, but I have a feeling after the deadline of August 1st or 4th, when they can't call a special, we're going to quickly
August 3rd.
August 3rd, thank you. So August 4th, we will find out what's going on with Senator McConnell. So we just got to hold
Yes,
out
we
till next
will.
week.
I'm restless to find out. I don't know. Just the intrigue of it all.
The
Here we are
intrigue
once
of it all.
again
Yep.
talking about the intrigue. I'm restless for all that drama to be over. Next up for me is when I leave the house, usually for like a business trip or a fun night out or some extended period of time. And I immediately wonder if I left the stove on. This is struggle bus for me,
Wait, the
100%.
stove, or is that metaphoric?
No, I mean, like anything, like, did I lock the door?
Right, okay,
It
so it's
really, that
metaphoric.
sort of stuff gets my OCD going. And so my immediate response is the compulsion, right? So to go check the door, go check the stove, go whatever. The hair straightener is another one. It makes me very restless, and I'll ruminate. And I really like when I'm in those moments, and it happens, I would say routinely, where like my OCD will get triggered and I become very restless, and I have to kind of pull it back in, take a deep breath, and sit with that discomfort, because most of the time, at least to date, I have not left the stove on. The house hasn't burned down, thank goodness. knock on wood.
Yeah. When I was diagnosed with OCD, I always thought it was that because that's what my mom would do. We would be in LA and be like 40 minutes into a 2-hour drive and she would turn around to go check the coffee pot. It was insane. I am so not like that, but I have the same, I get the thought and I'm like impulsive and compulsive and obsessive about it and I can't. I ruminate and that is a very restless feeling. It's awful.
Mhm. Yeah.
Regardless of what it's about. All
All right, what do you
right.
got?
My diet. So I really wanted to lose weight. And so I started this intermittent fasting thing. It's working. It hasn't been that painful of an experience, but part of it is I can't eat past a certain time. And I know people talk a lot about food noise, and I've never really related to that. But one thing I know is very unhealthy in my life is that for me, it's not food noise. It's like I've been habituated. It's like you get the kids to bed and then you can eat the goodies and everyone's asleep and I eat my goodies. It's almost like they don't count at night or something.
Mhm.
And so I have gotten rid of that and I'm very grateful. Like I don't think about food after 8 o'clock at night. I just don't even, I'm past the point. Like my lifestyle has changed. I feel really proud to be past that. But what I've noticed is after my for eating has closed, I become restless because I can't eat. I can't like my day is done. I worked, I hung out with my kids, I ate dinner, and now like there's no midnight snack coming. So I get very restless in the evening. And so earlier I said I had not struggled with this feeling really, except that the macro, most of these things I've been talking about are much more macro. And so I've been able to contain it more. But I have noticed that after my window of eating has closed, I do get restless. I'm like, I don't have enough energy to work. I'm burnt. I'm tired. So I don't really want to work. My kids are in bed. I can watch TV, but that's way more fun with food. And so I'm just having to figure out how to solve this restlessness issue that I'm hitting at about 9 o'clock at
Sounds like
night.
a nice cup of tea would do you well in the
My
evenings.
husband Taylor has gone to having tea. He has tea at night.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I should get on board with it because I don't want to go back to eating at night. And when I've caved, I've regretted it. But no, you're right. Maybe I should jump on board with Taylor and just have tea at night.
Yeah,
Have
it's a
something
nice
to look forward
ritual, gives you
to.
something to do and something to consume, and tea has a lot of medicinal factors too, so you could be making your own tea blend of things that are good for your body and good for your skin and your mind. All right, my next one is when you're waiting for your spouse to complete their honey-do list. That makes me restless. Part of why it makes me restless is because I don't really verbalize because I don't wanna be a nag, which also makes me restless. It's a vicious cycle, a snake eating its own tail. And so I've had to really practice radical acceptance that it will get done when it gets done, unless it's urgent, which sometimes it is. I
Right.
speak up, but otherwise, yep.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. Taylor's always worked so much building his business and stuff. The honey to-do list, I gave up on those so long ago. Because to your point, it was like they would be
That's
a
hilarious to
thing.
hear you say that because he has a very long to-do list for us right now.
But that's what I mean.
So I
Like,
don't think you actually gave up on it. I think you
oh
just
no, now it's like
modified it.
for profit. Yeah, like if I can monetize it, get on it. But yeah, I gave up on that long ago. I also still have, and I know that they're unhealthy, but like that super independent women streak that you get from good old trauma in your childhood. And so you get like this hyper super independence. And so I also like to do that once in a while. One of the best stories was the wallpaper for my office. That wallpaper. I wanted to do it and I knew my husband didn't have the capacity to take it on. Instead of picking a weekend that he would have the bandwidth to help me with the project, I was like, no, I'll just do it, which resulted in me getting stuck between the wall and the pre-stick wallpaper and a door opened and jammed me in a corner. Literally that happened. Like I was like a fly stuck on like fly paper, just waiting for someone to come find me. So,
You guys get into some freaky things over there.
I know it's what happens with psychedelic mushroom wallpaper. But yeah, I mean, I gave up on that a long time ago because that restlessness is horrible. And as I just explained, it can also convert for me into hyper, super independence. And then I dig a hole.
Then you don't
Or
ask for help.
I don't ask for help. I'm like, I can do it. I don't need him, whatever.
Yeah.
And I end up like this, between a door and wallpaper. It's great.
All right, what's next up for
So my
you?
last one, I can't tell anyone what it is because we aren't ready to announce it, but it's our big project coming out from the emotional endurance movement.
Yeah.
Restless. I want to tell people. I want to build it. I want to take it out on the road. Like there's so much to do, but I have to just go with the pace of life.
Yeah, no, I'm restless for that too. That's gonna be good. So stay tuned. Coming announcement.
It's exciting, and you'll see why I'm restless.
Yes. All right. So my last one is actually it's more a reflection of something that I got into during a period of time when I was really restless. So in 2020, when everything was cuckoo bananas, I got really into crystals and I still have a big collection. I shouldn't say it happened in 2020. I was the kid who was always collecting weird rocks from the playground. You know, my grandpa, when I was like 4 years old, came to Texas and he made me a museum out of like rocks. And it's like, it's just a big part of like my life. But this is my black tourmaline. And this is really good for like basically soaking up negative energy. And so this was one of my first ones that I got. And then I got this lepidolite, which is meant to be like a very calming stone, which I love this one. And of course, there's like rock history to these things, which I could bore you with. But at the
How
end
do
of the
you?
day, I mean, they're just
How
things
does
that
that?
I love.
How does the energy transfuse? Do you like suck on them like throat lozenges?
No, definitely
I'm
not. Ew, no.
joking.
No, 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 just being around them, looking at them, holding them, interacting with them. Although there are some crystals that you really shouldn't hold too much because they like have a dust that's not good for you to inhale or they might be slightly radioactive depending. But the whole reason I bring my crystal collection and this is the whole shebang.
Oh,
My
it's
whole
pretty.
my crystals. I love
How much
them.
money is in that little jar?
Not too much money.
Too
I'm gonna
much
show
money.
you my most expensive one, and it's also probably the smallest one of the smallest ones. And why I bring it up, because this right here, can you see it?
Yeah, is that like an emerald?
No, it's called Moldavite. And in 2020, there was a big social media, like it went viral. Moldavite went viral. And the reason why it went viral was because of its qualities. It's the glass that came from an asteroid impact that happened millions of years ago. So there's not a lot of it, which is why it's so expensive and so small. But Moldavite is supposed to be the crystal that basically will rapidly change your life. And by rapidly change your life, it means like it's going to remove things that aren't meant for you and it's going to basically clean house. And in 2020, this little stone had a viral moment. And still to this day, if you go on TikTok and put in Moldavite, you'll find people who are like, I lost it all. But here I am 3 years later, so much better because of my Moldavite. So
Funny.
I was influenced partially because it's cool. It's glass from an asteroid. Like, it's cool. I just
Yeah.
love it. But I was at a period of time in 2020 where there was a lot happening for all of us. And I was in the process of writing my first book. I was pregnant again. I had a new baby. I had a bunch of things going on that were good things, but I felt very restless to get to a place of stability. So I bought this piece from a local store. They used to have it up here in Liberty Township. It's unfortunately gone out of business. A lot of my collection is from them. I did not keep them in business though, but they had a great loyalty program. So I appreciate them. But this stone in particular, a lot of people will wear it as like jewelry. It's a little intense for me, so I just put it off to the side in this thing. And I will say, life has changed a lot. There's been a lot of stuff. And I do feel like coming out of this summer, I have done over the last couple of years some really intentional cleansing of people and things in my life that were really bringing me down. I don't know that the Moldavites to thank for that, but it was a purchase I made when I was feeling very restless. And I know there's a lot of social media kind of buzz around this stone and people who are feeling like restless, like it's time for a change. I need to transition. I need something big. But one interesting thing about Moldavite is they say that if it's not for you, you will lose the stone, the jewelry piece will break, it will release itself from you. But yeah, that's my crystal collection.
That's awesome.
And
I'm gonna have to get Moldavite.
now it's time for our coping skill of the week, which this week is just simply taking a walk. When we take a walk, it reduces stress and anxious feelings, sometimes after just one session of moderate movement. And I believe that that's because anxiety and stress often creates additional, like restless energy in our bodies, and walking or really any type of movement helps to release it. It can improve your mood, it can interrupt rumination, which we talked about recently. It can improve your sleep quality, which of course is holistically good for all of your physical and mental health. It can support your focus, your memory, clear thinking. It can also help you with communicating. Taking walking meetings has been shown to alleviate some of the discomfort of talking through difficult or challenging circumstances, but also has been shown to help with brainstorming and problem solving as well. And finally, it can create a sense of momentum when you feel stuck. When you're physically moving forward, this can make that small action of whatever it may be feel a little bit more possible because you already have the momentum of movement on your side. And one useful tip when it comes to walking is start small. Just a little bit at a time really can make a big difference. You don't have to walk until you feel wonderful. You just walk long enough until you feel slightly different. If you started off at a 6 level of stress when you started your walk and you're down to a 5, you've done an awesome job. Walking is one of the best things that we can do for our mental and our physical health, and it is often a very overlooked coping skill. So now for our game this week, we're going to go take a walk. Come take a
Yay!
walk with us.
You should.
Here we go.
Here
So
we go.
I really can only go around the cul-de-sac, so this won't be a super long walk, but it's good because it is like the sun outside here.
Yeah, I mean, we have sun. I'm just in the shade right now. But I'm about to enter a new phase where it won't be the shade anymore. Here it comes. Bam. And now I'm in the heat.
Yeah. Okay. Here I am too. Well, how was
So
your
show
lunch?
me
What'd
your
you have?
neighborhood.
Oh, well, here it is. It's the cul-de-sac. Show me yours.
This is my house, my new road. I have a turning lane and a bike lane now.
Yeah, that's a neighborhood.
Yeah. Yep. And I have trees. I'm gonna go turn into my neighborhood though.
Thank you so much for joining us on this week's episode of the Emotional Endurance Movement. I hope the next time you're feeling restless, you've got a few more tools in your tool belt to deal with it. And I hope you took a little bit of a walk alongside of us so that you can help build not only your physical health, but also your mental health as well. Make sure to like and follow us for more great coping content. And we will see you next week.
Peace out.